UFC Fight Night Pereira versus Hernandez is coming up next weekend, and today, guys, I have the complete betting guide for you. We're going to go through my personal betting recap for the previous card, and everything is going to be timestamped, by the way. We're going to be talking about confident picks, underdog opportunities, fights that I believe you should not be betting on. Then we're going to get into my personal lock of the week and the more fun part of the video where we take a look at any fun props or parlays that we can make. We're going to get into all of it, and again, timestamps are there if you'd like to skip to any part of the video. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. Guys, let's start off this video with the betting recap. And of course, you know what? I might as well talk about it now. I'll talk about it like the whole betting recap. We had two bets that we placed. And of course, the first one being Abdul Razak Al Hassan ended up getting canceled. But then that left us with one parlay, both Grant Dawson to win and Brad Tavares versus Junyan Park to go over 1.5 rounds. Both of those hit. So we're feeling pretty good about it, guys. I'll talk about this right now, of course. If you are interested in either supporting the channel or seeing where I'm putting my money where my mouth is, because I do talk a lot about betting on this channel, of course, then you can check out the channel membership in the pinned comment description down below or right next to the subscribe button. It's a very, very cheap compared to other channels, and every Thursday or Friday before the event, I will be posting a community post and members-only video talking about what I am doing with my own money. Never blindly tail. Again, that's either if you want to support the channel or combine my fight knowledge with your own research. With that being said, though, guys, thank you very much for listening. Let's get into the first part of the video, that being the confident picks. The first confident pick that I have for you is going to be Gene Massamuto. Now, I wish I could break this one down more for you guys. Brad Katona is also a really good fighter, but Gene Massamuto seems like he is the absolute real deal, and I really started paying attention to him after his last fight against Dan Argueta, who we recently saw too, and Dan Argueta is a very, very good and tough fighter. I believe this guy to be able to be the real deal. I believe that he's going to get past the test of Brad Katona, and if you guys want to hear me dive more into these fights, I already have a full card breakdown video that you can check out where I dive like literally as deep into these fights as I could possibly get. But let's continue on with the confident picks. The next confident pick that we have is going to be Asu Almabayev. Kind of like the same deal I was talking about with Gene Massamuto, man. Asu Almabayev has been nothing but majorly impressive since we've seen him burst onto the scene, and I think that he's going to get past Mateus Nicolau, somebody who I personally believe that I may have been overrating and a lot of the MMA community may have been overrating. His skills are there, but I just feel like when they go to clash, Asu will be the one to get on top of most of the exchanges. And the last confident pick I have for you guys is going to be Charles Johnson. I think it's just a really good matchup for him. Charles Johnson is a dog. He's coming off of a fantastic win over Joshua Van. He's still improving. He's still looking great. He is a vastly underrated fighter in the division. And I think style-wise, this is a really good fight for Charles Johnson personally. But the confident picks, that part is going to come to an end. But now let's move on to an underdog opportunity for you guys. It is important to note that while I'm speaking about this isn't necessarily a pick, and I'm definitely not betting on this fight personally. I just believe out of all the underdogs on the card, this might be where the value comes in if you're willing to take a risk. So I believe that fighter to be Austin Lane. What does Austin Lane want to do? He wants to come in. He's very fast. He's very athletic for the division. He wants to take you down. What issue have we just seen with Robelis Despine? He has an initial blitz. Other than that, he's pretty useless. I see a clear path to victory for Austin Lane in this fight, and he can absolutely get clipped 100%. But if that does not happen, then I believe Austin Lane will definitely be getting the better of Robelis Despine. But now, guys, let's move on through the video over here to fights that I believe you should not be betting on. Now, this card is very, very tough for betting, and I don't have too in-depth to really take a look at for the fights right now of why you shouldn't be betting on these fights. For example, Jessica Penne, Elise Reed, two low-level fighters in the division. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to get the better. So, there's not a ton of breakdown there. And a little bit more so to say the same thing about Darren Elkins and Daniel Pineda. I don't believe you should be betting on this fight either. Mostly because it's two fighters that have been past their primes. Darren Elkins is now 40 years old. Clearly past his prime. And Daniel Pineda loses half his fight. So, that one could also go either way. But kind of on the opposite side of the coin over here, I believe you should also not be betting on Brady Highstand versus Jake Hadley because both of these guys have serious potential throughout the division. Both guys have been looking good in the UFC, and I know Jake Hadley's had some hiccups there, but still, he's had some really solid performances too. I believe that you should stay away from this one because both fighters have a ton of potential. Lastly, the fight that I do not believe you should be betting on is Michel Pereira versus Anthony Hernandez. More so the same deal. Both of these guys have incredible potential for the division. Both of them are on really, really nice win streaks over quality opponents as well. You have the explosiveness of Michel Pereira taking on like the suffocating style of Anthony Hernandez. It is one of the best matchups we have seen in recent times. This is going to be a banger. I have no idea who's going to win it, and that's why I believe you should be staying away from that fight. Now, guys, let's talk about my personal lock of the week. The fighter on the card that I believe has as close to 100% certainty of winning, in my opinion, is going to be Kyler Phillips. I hope I'm wrong with this one. And I spoke about this in the full card breakdown because I'm a big fan of Rob Font. I like Rob Font a lot as a person, but I do not see him winning this matchup. I see Kyler Phillips coming in as a more explosive, younger, hungrier fighter against Rob Font, who has been inconsistent as of late. He has more tools in the arsenal to take care of a guy like Rob Font. I do believe Kyler Phillips is going to win this fight. I hope I'm wrong again, but I do not think that I am going to be wrong in this scenario. Now, guys, let's move on to a little bit more of the fun part of the video. This is where we take a look at some fun props and maybe some parlays, because as of right now, of course, there is absolutely nothing for us to take a look at over here. And I know it's cut off just a little bit for you, but the only fights as of right now, I'm recording this the day before it is releasing, and you only have props right now for Asu Amabeyev and Michel Pereira versus Anthony Hernandez. For the over 2.5 being at minus 105, I actually don't hate that because Anthony Hernandez is a ridiculously tough guy. And Michel Pereira, I don't know if he'd be able to finish Anthony Hernandez. It's really tough. So I'm interested to see what the 1.5 lines are at. I know that the fight, like, those odds are there for a reason, but I actually don't mind that at all. Asu Amabeyev and Mateus Nicolau, over 2.5 at minus 222. Actually, like, for a parlay piece, it's not horrible, but I guess that's all we have right now. But guys, let's see what we can do with the fun parlays over here. As you guys might know, I recently switched over to Bet365, and it's been fantastic. It's been fantastic. So I do like the layout that Betway has, so I'm going to continue rocking with that. Now, it looks like they actually, for once, do they have all of the fights over there? So let's take a look at a couple confident picks over here. Let's see what we can do if we were to put a few over here, like Gene Masamuto, Asu Amabeyev, Charles Johnson, Kyler Phillips. Those four together are about 4 times your money. I don't like that personally. Like, at the odds that Gene Masamuto is at, at the odds that Asu Amabeyev is at right now, that's something that I would just hit by itself. Personally, that's what I would do. But other than that, like, and if you guys have been following the channel, you would know I always like to take a look at these odds, and it's going to be a little bit juicy. It's looking like every single UFC week, my sister and I place 10 cents on every single underdog, just in case. And it's something fun to do. We like to cheer for the... and you get, oh, I thought it would be more than that. Okay, well, it's only $3,000 for 10 cents this time around. Usually, a lot of times, it's something absolutely ridiculous. But honestly, like, I wish still that we could mix in some, like, round lines with that. Like, it'd be cool to, like, pick Charles Johnson with maybe, like, a Jocelyn Edwards, Tamiris Vidal over 1.5. That's not bad. It would boost it just a little bit. I'm interested to see what those lines are at. This is a very, very difficult card for betting, in my opinion. But the card itself is going to be absolutely fantastic, guys. I hope you enjoyed this complete betting guide. Thank you for being here and watching. Check out the full card breakdown if you'd like me to dive in as deep as you could possibly get with these fights. I'd love to have you over there. Take care, everybody.